Welcome back, Legacy Leaders listeners. We have Jared Holt here again with us today. We're looking forward to having Jared here the next few episodes, bring his wealth and his experience. But today, with good timing, we're still in that quarter one of 24, a new year. And we kind of want to have a discussion just around things to be thinking about, these next few months and kind of entering a new year. Jared, what are some things top of mind for you that folks should be, what are they likely doing? What are some things they can kind of keep an eye on this time of year?
Yeah, so thinking of our clientele, primarily business owners, working through transition plans or growing a business, something to that effect. If I'm a business owner right now this time of year, in which we are, then you look at that and go, okay, I have a little bit of a downtime typically before you get really busy, it gets nice out, you get a lot of different things going. And I think now's a good time to reflect on the previous year. What went well? What didn't go well? Talk with your team members, talk with your employees, talk with your family members, get their perspective. Okay, what goals did we have in 23? Did we achieve those goals? Did we not achieve those goals? Why didn't we if we didn't? What can we build off of? What momentum do we have going? What things we got to clean up, and have a legitimate discussion about it, like an on-purpose discussion, not a, got together quick over the coffee break and talk. Real.
I don't think we're intentional enough with it, right?
Yeah.
Like just getting everyone together and maybe take a longer lunch, right? Maybe extend lunch for an hour.
Yeah.
Or go off-site, right?
Yeah.
It's a good getaway from the farm.
Exactly. Get away from the business and get away from the site and shut your phones off and, give people a chance to actually think about it and prepare versus just getting everybody together quick in the shop. Like, I don't know. I got 80 things in my head. I wasn't thinking, get ready and think about it. So I think that's a big thing first. Another one then, this time of year, you should be wrapping up your financials from the previous year, getting your balance sheet cleaned up, understanding where you're at, and start working on your 24 projection, 24 budget. Mm-hmm. And we talk to clients all the time and they say, we've never done a budget. Well, those that do a budget make more money. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. If you want to make more money, do a budget, do a cash flow. There's an old saying out there. I didn't make this saying up, but what gets measured gets managed. Mm-hmm. How do you measure? How do you know what to manage if you don't know where you're at?
Well, and I think a lot of times too, when they're sitting down with whoever might be working with them on their financial reporting, is they maybe do a lot of the brunt of the work. Their consultant or advisor. And maybe they don't truly own the numbers as much as they should, right? And just really sitting down and going through line item by line item.
Yep.
It kind of every year maybe a budget gets put together and you maybe look at it throughout the year, you maybe don't, but then it's tracking, right? Budget to actual, how am I actually doing so that you can do better the next time around, the next year, and just truly own those numbers.
You're spot on, Cassie. Too many times our clients, any business owner will rely on that outside person, The thing that drives me nuts the most is when I hear a client ask their lender, how am I doing? It's not your lender's job to, you should know. Yeah. It's your job to tell the story back to the lender. It's not the lender's job. They're going to analyze you anyways, so you might as well understand and be ahead of what they're thinking and why. And they're going to trust you more if you know your plan and what's going on in your business. So I see that too often, and it'd be great if more business owners take the onus, and they always say, I'm busy, I don't have time, but find time, make time. It's important, and understand which parts of your business are making money, which ones aren't. Mm-hmm. And, when we see our clients do this, their profitability just goes up. It just, they find things. I was in a meeting just recently with a business doing a budget, and, the successor asks mom a question, why do we do this in the one enterprise? Why are we paying for this? Well, I don't know. We've always, and the successor said, well, I can get this cheaper over here. And mom's like, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, let me make a phone call. Mm-hmm. They saved thousands and thousands of dollars. Boom. Just because they worked through the numbers and talked about it. And they'd never done that before. It's their first time doing it, so it was just worthwhile.
Well, and I think another thing too is, putting a budget together, right? But then, maybe this time of year is a good time to start thinking about how often am I coming back to visit it? Am I doing it on a quarterly basis, semi-annual? A lot of times our clients, right, quarter 4 is coming and it's November and they're frantically calling their tax advisor because they want to know where are we at, what do we need to do here by year end, so it's like we can better plan, right? And better have those anticipations, owning the numbers and knowing, hey, this is realistically what I can anticipate, because here we are mid-year, now I can anticipate this for the remaining of the year. It's just better overall tax planning and planning in general.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you. Away from the financials, if you look at some other things right now to be thinking about and talking about, we talked a little bit the soft side, but if you're a family business, if you're working through a transition, now is a great time to, again, talk about roles, responsibilities. What worked well last year? What are we going to do this year? Are we going to do anything different this year for roles, responsibilities, management between different generations? Or are we going to just duplicate things over again? Again, we get so busy with family, with kids, with business, with changing dynamics all the time. If we don't practice it and focus on it, we lose sight of it. And then there's been times where we've checked back in with a family after a couple of years if we hadn't talked to them. And if they hadn't been following the plan and working on it, they're doing the same thing. Mom and dad are still, running the whole business, and the kid is still just punching the clock, basically, doing chores or the labor, and mom is still doing the books, and the kids have never seen any numbers yet. And they move forward with the transition plan and equity transfer, but the management's a big piece of it. So it's important to do.
And maybe it's more the underlining factor that communication needs to be worked upon, right?
Yep.
And this is a great time too to talk about, how well did we communicate amongst owners, amongst family members throughout that past year? How can we be more effective moving forward so that we can identify, those roles and responsibilities, and we know who's accountable for what, and we're communicating what's getting done.
Yep, exactly. I got a call yesterday afternoon. You two don't even know this yet, but I got a call yesterday afternoon from an individual who was referred to us by a client. And, dad is 72, mom's 72. They still own everything on the farm. They're still making all the decisions. And the kid is 40 and doesn't own anything yet, doesn't know what's going on. And the kid's like, it's not that my parents don't want to tell us. It's not, they just don't know how. And dad thinks he's doing us a favor by taking care of everything. And they just don't have a process. They don't have a plan to talk about it. And I told him, I said, now is a perfect time of the year to talk. Sit down and talk, either with our help, without our help, but do it now.
Yep.
Make it intentional. Clear the calendar and talk about it and document it. And I said, have you ever tried that? Nope. He said, well, Dad just told me that I might get to run 80 acres this year. What do you mean you might? It's already January. Shouldn't you be...
Yes or no, right?
Well, shouldn't you be taking care of inputs? I mean,
Right.
there's things you should be thinking about, so that's important to be talking and digesting now.
Yeah, the list can go on.
Yeah. And I think one other thing, it's conference season, right? So people are getting out, and there's different conferences that you can attend and learn more tips, tricks, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of speaking events coming up, so this is a good time to go to them, learn some new things, reflect as a family on different things you can implement in your operation
exactly.
too.
Absolutely. Spot on.
Get off the farm, go talk about things, network with your other peers. See what's working with them, see what's not working, and you'll make a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
Jared.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today, so thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
See you, everyone.